Hello and welcome, YouTube people. I got back to Finland late last night, and today's Sunday. I've just popped into work to load this up. My kind boss lent me the work van and the trailer, so I've just loaded the 64 up with a load of bits, and I'm going to drive this to my friend Yanni's. Drop this off. Some of these parts he might want, some of them I will dump inside the gear, something like that. And then I'm going to bring the blue 65 back to work, so I can get a few bits done, so it can be put up for sale. I'll go through a little bits and pieces I want to do when I bring it back here. So let the journey begin. It's all strapped down, ready to go. So here I am. I made it back to Yanni's. So he has kindly moved these out so I can put the 64 back inside. So I just need to unload this and load this. Yanni is just draining some old fuel. Isn't that right, Jan?
Yep.
No ignition light.
As usual.
I'll just connect the battery first.
Yeah, that might help a little bit.
No ignition light.
But you have to wait a while.
Do you think it needs to warm up?
Is it dead again?
Yeah, I think it's a switch, isn't it?
Could be.
I don't think the battery... Oh, it's on now. There we go. And action. Nothing. Maybe I need to... Oh. And it's dead again. Come on. Quick sneaky glimpse at my next project. So we're all unloaded and we're going to have a coffee. So we got the cars back in storage, all loaded up and ready to go. Okay, so it's actually now Tuesday. I didn't do anything on this yesterday, so I'm just going to have a quick look around and see what I would like to get done before it goes up for sale. obvious thing is I'm going to paint this wing. I'm also going to paint the wheels because they look very sorry for themselves, and I'm going to raise the front up just a little bit because it's a little bit too low at the front if you compare the back. The back is just standard height at the moment, so that's going to stay like that. So inside here everything is completely standard, it's just a 1200. I removed the heaters and put the J tubes on. Never needed heaters on a Beetle because I only drive them in fair weather, so I always remove those and I put these blanking things on. This is one thing, I'll move this and put it underneath the probably just on the other side of the firewall, next to the gearbox. Again, same as on the other engine, the reason I put this here is the tank in this hadn't been used for many years and it was full of like rust dust, so I was forever having to wash the tank out and change these filters, but now you can see it's running really nice and clean, so I'll move that. But nothing to do here, it starts really well and seems to run quite well. Yeah, so I think that will be it for now. Oh yeah, there is actually, I just remember, under the rear seat here, there's actually a patch here that I need to put in. That's one piece I didn't put in because all of this was replaced, and all of this and the heater channels. So yeah, I need to do that as well. And I think maybe I'll do something. I think this headliner is like really bad. I don't want to cut the roof back too far, so maybe I'll try and glue that down just so it has some roof line. It's actually ripped there, it's got so brittle. Maybe the back piece there I'll remove because yeah, well, it will look a little bit better than it does, rather than it all just hanging down like that. But like I said before in the previous video, all this has been replaced. It's not the prettiest, but obviously, you know, the carpet and everything should go over this. So yeah, I'll get started with those few bits. I do actually have a spare set of wheels, I think, that are black and painted, so maybe I could just throw those on. But I think I'm going to get it insured and just drive it this week and make sure everything runs all right. It still is inspected until August, so I'm going to drive it around for a little bit, see if there's any niggles before it goes in for a retest, and then I will put it up for sale. So just like that, after a couple of minutes, I took my 64 standard off the road, like cancelled insurance, and put this one back on the road, so I can now just in like 2 minutes drive on the road legally, which is so cool. You couldn't do that in the UK for sure. You have to probably phone someone up and be on hold for an hour. So I'm just going to take this down the road, make sure everything works, put some fuel in it, because I think, well, the tank says empty. I'm not sure if the sender works. Another thing I just realized as well is when I was test driving it for the last video, the speedo stopped working, so I'll have to investigate that. It's probably just the cable that goes to the front wheel, but I need to address that as well. In the meantime, I'll just use my phone with the speedo, because you don't want to get caught speeding in Finland. It's very expensive. So yeah, let's go. Just like that. This car drives so well. I don't know if it's an age thing, but I think I really have changed in the fact that these standard cars seem to have so much more charm. You know, I really like my standard 64, but I don't know, it doesn't have charm like this does, you know. It's this is not very fast because it's just standard 1200. Doesn't really like to go much over 80. It will do 100, but you have to push it a little bit, you know, especially if there's a hill it doesn't want to go up. But yeah, I mean, the steering's really nice, it rides really nice. You don't feel like you're in a hurry at all. You don't need a radio. I never put a radio in my Beetles because yeah, there's no point really. I mean, it's still fairly noisy in here if you compare it to a modern car, but I quite like the noise of the little flat 4 out the back there. So I just put half a tank, 30 euros later. I think I've gained at least half a horsepower. One thing I've noticed as well is that the steering wheel needs to be realigned a little bit, so I'll take that off and realign it. But man, this thing drives awesome. I love it. Rocking the Crocs today, summer's here, you know. I make these things look good. I can actually feel when I accelerate and take my foot off the accelerator sharply, or accelerate hard as well, not hard, but as hard as I can, there is a little clonk which would indicate that the gearbox mount needs replacing, but I know for a fact that I put a brand new one on there. And I remember when I was at Yanni's test driving this, I had a look underneath and it was it hadn't split, it's just that the rubber was really soft, so it clunked. But to replace it I'd have to take the engine out and move the gearbox, so I mean, as long as it's not broken, I think it's fine. Another thing is there's absolutely no movement on the brake pedal. It's like solid, but it doesn't bind or anything like that, but it's just really sharp. The brakes work pretty fantastic, but I don't really like the hard pedal, so maybe that needs a little bit of an adjustment there as well. So I actually have these that I painted, I don't know, 6 months ago or something like that, and I think my intention was to put these on the Carman gear. I thought they might look quite nice in black with the blue, but the only thing is that I only have 3, because I used one of them as a spare for the 64, which is now at Yanni's. So I actually have another one of these tyres as a spare in this car, and I could just paint one of these wheels for now and then use this, or I take these off and blast them and paint them silver. I don't know yet, but as I mentioned in the previous video that this car was in, this was actually, I can't remember, was it something like 40 years I think off the road. My friend who I work with saved it from the scrapyard and he put it in his garden, and it sat there for, I don't know how many years, but I know the car's been off the road for like 40 years before I started doing the work on it. But it sunk in his field up to the floor pan basically, so he had to pull it out with his trailer, and yeah, it's had a lot of replacement. If the new owner of this car really wanted to put this back to like nice original shiny paint, it really wouldn't take too much to sort out these little bits and pieces, you know, like this. You just need to pull that out a little bit and grind a little bit of the weld off. Like, it's not really that big deal, but I mean, I think this is probably original paint on this wing, and also maybe the roof and bonnet, I would think, and half of these doors, because I painted the bottom halves. I painted these rear quarters because obviously I replaced the bottoms of these, and the rear wings are actually new, I think, and this was a US with the towel rails. I left the hole because I was contemplating putting the towel rail bumpers on it, but yeah, I probably should have filled that, but hey, I mean, look at it, it's rough round the edges. The headliners in these things are a bit of a different story. Apparently they're really hard to replace. You can buy them, they're readily available and everything, but when I was talking to the upholsterer who I work with, he said that they're quite difficult because they come in so many pieces, and obviously they fit all the way around the rear windows, so you have to deal with that, and then it wraps around the back there. These seats are actually quite interesting. I really, let's put this down. I really love this colour with the blue. It's kind of a blue green anyway, and these, I would call this green, and this is very similar to the colour of the car. So it would be really nice to have the original door cars, but they were so shrunk that yeah, I couldn't get them to work, so it's a shame, but it's not the end of the world. And obviously this driver's seat, kind of a little bit beyond repair, or you could replace them, you know, but it depends what you want to do with these cars, you know. You can go crazy and have everything perfect, but then you're afraid to use it. So there it is. I'm going to drive it home, see how it goes. Wish me luck. So that's all for this short episode. I just thought I'd fill you guys in what I've been up to since I've been back in Finland. Yeah, I'm going to do these little bits and pieces and eventually get back to this gear engine, but yeah, there's no rush with that, obviously, because the car needs so much work done. But so I'd like to get this done while the weather is still nice and maybe put some miles on it. And yeah, so I'll keep you updated on the bits and pieces. Man, massive response for the last video of my oval window. I think Matthew, or Matty B, stole the show from me, that's for sure. Awesome, it was great to do that little video with him, and everybody seemed to enjoy it. And so many comments, loving the comments, brilliant. So yeah, again, thanks for watching. If you like it, please like and subscribe, because it's nearly 300, I think, now, subscribers, which is just incredible. So again, thanks a lot. Till next time.